So hello again everyone. So this is week 2 of Year 9 Spanish. Today we're going to look at, as our title says, numbers, time and time phrases. So I imagine numbers and telling the time is going to be just a bit of a recap. And you would have also seen many of these time phrases before. So a time phrase is when you say something like tomorrow or next year, or in the past tense, you could say 2 years ago or last week. So, but before we get on to looking at numbers, telling the time and time phrases, we're just going to think a bit about what we did last week. So in your fact book, you would have been learning the opinion phrases we saw. So you've been given the first letter of each word of the translations of all of these English phrases. So just fill in, complete the translation. So I like is going to be me, and then it's not going to be gusta because it starts with an M. So you'll have to think of the phrase in Spanish which means I like, which isn't me gusta and isn't me chifla, that's a C. So what I would say first of all is to have a go, just trying to remember what all these phrases are, and then if you want to use your fact book from with the notes in from last week, then do that. And the challenge here, I've changed the pronoun, so it's we here, so this isn't going to be me anymore, and then it's he, and then it's they. So this first one is going to be me mola, and you can pause the video now and have a go at the rest of them. Okay, and here's your answers. So check the ones you did, correct any, fill in the ones you didn't do. So numbers. Now, I did mention, obviously just a second ago, that you will have seen, or you will know, hopefully, the numbers 1 to 19 or 1 to 20 as it says here. And yeah, these are just numbers that you have to know going into GCSE. And the reason we're sort of recapping numbers is because we won't really have time in year 10 or 11 to go over something as basic, let's say, as numbers. So yeah, 1 to 19 or 1 to 20 you should just know. And obviously if you know 1 to 9, that'll help you form large numbers. So the first little activity, copy down the tens and then match them up with your options here. So 20. So 20. You'll know is 20. And then have a go at doing the rest. Obviously, if you do know your numbers 1 to 9, you can make a very educated guess, because the number 3 is tres. So have a guess what that's going to match up with. So pause the video now and carry on matching them up. Okay, so your answers are here on the left hand side. So check them, and I'll also now explain how you form numbers 20 to 99. So with the numbers 20 to 29, it's all one word. So it's 20 plus, for example, dos. If it was 22, it's 22. 23 is going to be 23. 24, 24. So if you know your numbers 1 to 9, you just add them on the end of 20, like here, 28, 28. Things look a little different, 31 and above. So here it's 2 words, separated by E, so separated by and. So it's 40, 40 from here, 40 and 3, so 43. 90 y 9, 90 and 9, 99. 80 y 5, so 80 and 5. So that's how you form the numbers 20 or 21 to 99. So could you make a note of the pattern? So make a note of this. So pause the video to make a note of that. And then even higher numbers, I imagine these are all probably new to you. So these are all in your fact book, so let's not write them down, but I do want you to write down the pattern of how you form them. So the number 100 is 100, but if you ever want to say a number higher than 100, so 101, use 100. And so if we look at this example, 202 is 200 for 200, dos. It's really easy, and there's no and here, so it's just 202. 340 is 340, literally 340. So in English we say an and, 340. In Spanish there's no and. And then 851, 851. So here you do have the and because it's the same as how you form these here. So so pause the video, make a note of how you form higher numbers in the hundreds. Oh, and one thing to point out actually, before I forget, 500 is the one which doesn't follow a pattern. So this is the one which they use in exams, basically. The one that comes up a lot, or a lot more than the others, because it's not 500, it's 500. So that's one to be aware of. So the first little activity, I'm going to call out some numbers, and I just want you to write down the number that you hear. So just write down the digits. So it's 1 to 8. Obviously, you can pause the video to be able to write. I'll say them twice. So number 1, and obviously also you can look at your notes, look at your fact book. So number 1, 71. 71. Please do pause in between me saying these. 2, 38. 38. 3, 52. 52. 4, 105. 105. 5, 236. 236. 6, 344. 344. 7, 781. 781. And the last one, number 8, 529. 529. If you want to hear any of those again, you can rewind the video. So do that now, because your answers are going to come in a second. So here's the answers. 1 to 8 there. So pause to mark your work, give yourself a mark out of 8. So we'll do this hopefully pretty quickly. So telling the time. When you say 1 o'clock, you say es la una. So es la is that the translation of it is. So it's 1 o'clock. And it's always una, it's never uno, because it's feminine. If you say any number over 1, so 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you say son las. So es la is it is 1 o'clock, es la una, son las dos, it is 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. If you're saying at, you just add on. Or you say a, so at la una, at las dos. So that's like the at. So do make notes on that. And then if you want to say a more specific time, so 2:05, you say son las dos, so just like it was here, it is 2 o'clock, son las dos y cinco, so it's 2 and 5. 2:15, son las dos y cuarto. Cuarto means quarter, not to be confused with cuatro, which is 4. And again, these are all times before the half. So son las dos y media. So it's 2 and media is like and a half. And then the other side of the clock, so 6 to 12, so 30 to the hour. If you want to say it's 22 to, say son las dos menos 20, this literally means like menos is like less or like take away. So son las dos menos 20, it's 20 to 2. Son las dos menos cuarto, that word again, cuarto is quarter, so it's quarter to 2. Son las dos menos 10, 10 to 2. So make a note of these two bits here. So pause the video. And this is something which, like I say, this is just something that which you should know by now, which we won't have time to go over again, probably in the next couple of years. So time phrases. We are going to use, or you will see these time phrases be used in the next couple of lessons when we look at tenses. So if you put 2 headings on your piece of paper, whatever you're writing on, past and future, and I just want you to find the translations for last week, last month, 2 years ago, last week. Oh, that's the same word twice. This should say a week ago. It should say 1 week ago. So yeah, find the translation from these purple options here and fill it in. And you've got some support here. So pasado or pasada is like last. It sounds like past. Próximo is the opposite. So próximo is next. Que viene also means next, but it literally means that comes. So it's like the coming year. And then hace something años is something years ago. So 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So use the support here. Try and find the translations. And pause the video. So these are your answers. A reminder, I'd put that wrong there. So last week, this doesn't mean last week, this means 1 week ago. So una semana, 1 week ago. So those are your answers. Make sure you've got those right. And the final activity, I'd like you to rearrange the Spanish words to make these sentences. And then after, add in an opinion phrase that we saw last week. So it doesn't have to be anything that is true or that sounds sounds amazing or sounds like it reflects your actual feelings. I just want us to practice recycling the Lego from last time. So 2 years ago, I brought a postcard. So use your notes that you've got for 2 years ago, which is here. All the words are here, by the way, as well. And I bought a postcard. And then after, you could say, for example, something like, and I loved it. Y me encantó. For this next one, last week I saw a painting. Again, you've got last week somewhere here, but you can also work it out from the words given to you, and then add in an opinion phrase. So you could say, for example, and I found it interesting. If you do need to use your fact book or your notes from last lesson, then do that. But really make sure you're using the right verb ending. So if you want to speak in the past tense, if you want to say, I found it interesting, make sure you're using an O with an accent. And if you're speaking in the present tense, for example, like because I'm passionate about it, it's going to be porque me apasiona with an A. So pause the video, have a go at these. Those are your answers. Pause the video and have a go. This is a website you can use to carry on practicing numbers. So there's some like interactive games. Obviously, you can't click on this link, but you can copy out the URL. And finally, just to refer to this is your little section in the fact book that I'd like you to learn. So you've got the numbers here, and then the time phrases. Like I said, the time phrases we'll see these in the next couple of lessons, probably, when we look at tenses.